Now, hundreds of primary schools and nurseries across Glasgow were forced to close yesterday and will be closing again today as female council workers staged a 48-hour strike, believed to be the biggest of its kind. The industrial action by more than 8,500 mainly female members of the GMB and Unison unions also disrupted home care services and 50 additional learning support centres. Now, it's all over a dispute over equal pay at Glasgow City Council. A Court of Session ruling last year ruled that, male and female workers should be paid the same, even though, of course, they're not necessarily doing the same jobs. Basically, it's a lot of female dinner ladies. There's a clue in the name, and care workers who say they are paid less than, for instance, bin men who get paid more than them, and they think it's because they're men. But why should people be paid the same for doing different jobs? Let's talk about this with Mandy McDowell, who's Unison Scotland's regional organiser and joins us now. Good morning to you, Mandy.
Good morning,
Good
Billy.
morning.
How are you doing?
Why should a dinner lady get paid or a care worker get paid the same as a bin man?
Well, to be honest, Julia, this goes back to where society actually values women's work. Women's work seems to be undervalued by society and has been for a long, long time. We, as women, tend to do the cleaning, the catering, the dirty jobs for society, the caring jobs, all of those nurturing roles. And for some reason, we've never valued the same as the manual, heavy working jobs of bin men, drivers, gardeners, etc. And now we've through equal value claims, learned that women actually, their work is of equal value. So the roles might not be fundamentally the same, but the work has the same value.
Well, again, when we talk about the same value, look, we need care home workers. We need people to feed the children at school. But we also need people to clean the streets. But but we also need doctors, and we don't expect doctors to be paid the same as bin men, and yet they're actually probably both vital for our public health. We accept that different people who do different jobs get different pay, and one of the key reasons for that is the number of people who are willing to do that job and the skills or qualities or talents you need or physical ability you need to do that job. The reality is, I would much rather work as a school dinner lady than I would to go around at 4 a.m. onwards in the snow and the rain, in the dark, collecting people's smelly bins. And that's one of the reasons why dinner ladies are paid less than bin men.
But let's look at home care workers who are out at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, trudging the dark streets, going to houses where they don't know what's going to happen as they open that door, to care for somebody, to do the dirty work that society doesn't talk about around personal care. Ultimately, the courts have decided in all the equal pay claims across the land, and Glasgow is one of the last councils to settle on the ad, that these women are worth the same as these men. The debate is about comparators. It's not about doctors. We're talking about mainly manual workers, and they ought to be paid a value that recognises
But hold on a minute.
Job.
Isn't there a really easy way for people working as care workers in nursing homes or as dinner ladies to earn the same pay as bin men? Why don't they just go and work as bin collectors?
But then who would do the work of those women? I mean, I think at the end of the day, what we're talking about here is the value we put on women's work. I know many women who have to carry on 2 or 3 jobs, different contracts, just to earn enough to get by. Men traditionally don't tend to have to do 2 or 3 contracts. A bin man will get a contract for 37, 40 hours a week. A dinner lady or a home carer ends up working maybe shifts that are
so why don't no? But if those jobs are equal value, could be equally done by anyone, why don't those people go and get those jobs? The reality is that it's heavy manual work in unpleasant conditions, and we talk about valuing women's work, valuing men's work. Do we value the risks that a lot of men do in terms of their health? Building sites, soldiers working in the sewers, the oil rigs. Just look at the stats. Someone's just pointed out to me the stats in terms of fatal injuries to workers. In the last year, the fatal injuries to workers, 97% of them were to men. It does suggest that men are doing rather more high-risk work than a lot of women. If women want to earn the same, if women want to be paid the same for a particular job, they should do that job. There's nothing, if you're saying there's no difference between those jobs, then why can't women go and hump bins around?
But that's not what's at the crux of what equal pay is all about, I'm afraid.
Well, it is for most people, though.
but it's actually not in law. And the whole point is that we're looking at the value of the jobs that women do, not the size of the person doing it and the weight of the issue that they're carrying. It's where they're working relative to who they are and what they do.
But hold on a minute. But would we not all think that the value of a home carer was far greater than the value, for instance, of the chief executive of a council, or indeed a senior figure at Unison? And yet, my guess is you're paid more.
Yes.
No, but then my guess is you're paid. We don't. That's not how pay works. We don't live in a socialist society where we say everyone earns the same. We pay people different rates, and partly it's the skills to get into that job, partly it's the number of people who are capable of doing that job, and partly it's the willingness of people to do that job. Nasty, horrible, difficult jobs in horrible conditions have to pay more to get people to turn up to do them.
But in this case, the bin men, the drivers, the lorry workers, all the gardeners, their work has been deemed as equal value to women. We've won that case at court. That was won last year. And so what we're trying to do in this dispute now is equalise that and bring it down. Now, we are not attacking the men for the work that they do. We don't want to take money away from them. We just simply want the women who ought to be paid the same as them at that rate, at those values, in those jobs. We're not comparing them to wider society here. We're comparing them to the men they work alongside in Glasgow City Council.
But why not? And again, and it's noted all the hundreds of male council workers and other services did refuse to cross those picket lines on Tuesday, and will no doubt refuse to cross them again today. But again, and I understand. Yet there was a court ruling on this. I think the court ruling is completely wrong because we don't live in a socialist society where we pay everyone the same, exactly the same amount, because we do accept that people do different jobs and they get paid differently for them. I just say again, if those women don't like the pay they're on and they think they're unfairly paid, but it's above the minimum wage, they should go and get another job.
Well, I think that's an interesting position, but I fundamentally disagree with you, and so did the highest court in the land. At the end of the day, these women are due to be paid equal value. The council has accepted it, but it's been dragging its heels for far too long.
What if they decide? What if the solution by the council is, and bearing in mind this money doesn't come from nowhere, it comes out of the pockets of a lot of the people who are paying for those services, their council tax and their income tax,
which and includes our members that are on strike. Absolutely, these are citizens of Glasgow.
Yeah, exactly. I was just about to make that point. I was going to say, and indeed the people going on strike. However, what if the solution for Glasgow City Council is, well, we'll pay the bin men less?
Well, we've been in discussions with the Glasgow City Council a number of months now, but even prior to that, Susan Aitken, the leader of the council, committed that there was funding available. We just need to get now down to dealing with the settlement issues and making sure we get that on board. I mean, ultimately, local government, particularly in Scotland, has been underfunded for years, and there is an issue about that, and we will need to deal with that. Okay. But we've been assured that the money is there for us to do it. We just need to get it into the right place.